We welcome you back to High Heat with the Rizzo Report and with Jared Walsh as the heir apparent, or really the future at first base in Anaheim, and Shohei Ohtani serving as the DH. We probably expected Albert Pujols to be future Hall of Famer has retired. Instead, we hear Albert Pujols, future Hall of Famer, was designated for assignment, but you don't have to feel that badly. He's already in Southern California, and although while not official, it does appear that he's just going to be able to drive an hour north on the 5 and apparently play for the Los Angeles Dodgers of Los Angeles instead of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. So maybe he plays a little bit of first base. Maybe he DHs when they go to an American League city, and perhaps maybe he just can, give some veteran leadership on a team that is decimated as far as their position players are concerned. So that means the two remaining stars in Anaheim, Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, have even more on their plate to do. They got the job done on Sunday. So Mike Trout, in the top of the 9th inning, with 2 out, ends up hitting a single, and then Shohei Ohtani steps to the plate and hits a 2-run home run to get the job done, and also to absolutely stun the Boston Red Sox there at Fenway Park. So I believe Mike Trout was 0 for 18 coming into that at-bat, gets the single, a bloop and a blast. The Angels end up getting the win. It was Ohtani's 12th home run of the season. He's tied with Aaron Judge, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Mitch Haniger for the Major League Baseball lead in long balls. It's his 2nd home run in 3 games. By the way, he's 1-0 with a 2.10 earned run average as a pitcher. He's scheduled to start again on Wednesday at home against Cleveland. Joe Maddon giving him an extra day of rest. I know how Mad Dog feels about this two-way situation, but you know what? If you can do it with the bat, and if you're able to give the guy an extra day of rest to see what he can do on the mound, I'm all for it. I mean, if this is a guy that can do everything, let him do it. Mad Dog already said the Angels weren't going anywhere, so let's see what this guy can do. The departure of Albert Pujols, Shohei Ohtani is going to continue to be your DH. He's fun to watch, and if the Angels aren't going anywhere, at least give their fans something to look forward to. All right, from the Angels and the Red Sox to the Phillies and the Phillies playing against themselves, because apparently Joe Girardi and Jean Segura had some words on Sunday after it was apparent that Jean Segura misplayed a ball. Apparently, Joe Girardi said something to Jean Segura. They had to be separated a little bit. Joe Girardi would not comment on the situation after the game, but he did implore his team prior to that, please, just catch the ball. Let's play some defense. This is, however, what he did say after the game.
Bench conversation meant for the bench.
Were you disappointed?
Bench conversation meant for the bench.
Joe, conversation or confrontation?
Next question.
How about the optics of all this? I mean,
Next
today,
question. Next question.
I mean, from
Jimmy,
baseball.
I'm not going to talk about it, Jimmy. I'm not going to talk about it. Next question. You got a baseball question? Ask me a baseball question.
Joe Girardi continued to be pressed about the argument. It's the way to say something about saying nothing. He was not going to deal with that. But here's a Phillies team that I think is obviously very frustrated. He doesn't want to make mental mistakes. It's one thing on an error if it's a physical error, but when you're dealing with mental excuses and perhaps not hustling to get a ground ball or to try to defend an infield single, I can see why Joe Girardi is frustrated. Here's another reason why they may be frustrated in terms of this. Think of all of the players that they're dealing with some injuries right now. Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius, Scott Kingery, Andrew Knapp, Rafael Marchin. That's just a few of the players dealing with injuries. I don't know about you, Chris, but when you see a manager and a player get into it in the dugout, that doesn't bode well. You got to keep those conversations out of camera view because you know you're going to be asked about it.
100%. And I don't think also, you got to remember, that's Philadelphia, and that's a tricky sports town. Those writers are tough. The talk show hosts are tough. I know Joe's frustrated. He's won a championship. He's a very good manager. But, they'd like to know. Everybody saw what we saw. You'd like to have a little explanation of what that is all about. You can't have a conversation. You can't have a confrontation in the dugout when the whole world sees it and then not talk about it afterwards. I mean, it's one thing it's in the clubhouse and it got to be a whisper that something was going on, and then you can sort of blow off the media. When everybody saw it, it becomes tricky. So that's where Joe gets himself in trouble. He's also annoyed. They lost a bad game. They had a 4-5 road trip. Harper, first and second in the 6th inning bunts which to me, I mean, they didn't pay him, they're not paying him $40 million a year to bunt. In that situation, I'm sure he wasn't happy with that either. So a bad weekend, really a bad stretch. They were playing well. They had a bad game in Atlanta, lost 2 out of 3. They beat the Nationals, who didn't pitch Scherzer. And then they had a bad series here in Toronto, or down in Tampa against Toronto, losing 2 out of 3. And as far as Ohtani is concerned, I got to give him a break this time. You're right. His last 2 starts are much better. 6 walks against Tampa, but he went 5 solid innings with only 1 hit, no runs. And he pitched a pretty good game against Houston last week. 3 hits, 7 innings, and a 9-1 wasn't his fault. They lost 9-1, and he's hitting very well. So I'll give him a little break from a standpoint of his pitching. I know people think I'm too hard on him, and he's got wonderful, he's throws about 100 miles an hour. But in order to be a big pitcher, you got to take the ball every 5th day, get out there and pitch. They need him to do more of that than they need him. Now, listen, he won the game yesterday with a home run, so they actually need him probably to do both. But they have a completely dearth of starting pitching. Andrew Haney, Dylan Bundy, Quintana, you're not winning with that. You're not winning. Case closed. You are not winning a significant amount of games with that staff. Ohtani at the top end is vital. We'll see if he can make 25 to 28 starts. So far, he's made about 5-6 starts. So far, you got to wonder if he's going to reach that number. We shall see.
Well, they need Anthony Rendon to be healthy, and they need him to play, too. Maybe Gene Segura saw a rat, and maybe Joe Girardi saw a raccoon. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is in Philadelphia, but whatever it is, they didn't like it.